All right, folks, welcome in to another special episode of I've Got a Theory. I'm your host, Henish, and I've got my good friend, long-term friend, and business associate, Rancho Ted Przybylek. Ted, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, Henish. I was just thinking, man, you've been to the ranch, so you know what Rancho Ted's about.
I've been there a couple times, man, and I miss it. It's been several years. And just today we were shopping for an RV, not shopping for an RV, but to rent an RV because my friend owns an RV company. I was like, well, first of all, we got to figure out where we want to go. And so now I'm like, let's pick location and then we'll pick RVs and stuff like that. But you've got a beautiful site up there. And I'm assuming you haven't done anything recently, but you used to have like different things going on there.
Yeah, well, no, once this is over, I've actually been doing a lot of work up there. I'm really going to make it a music venue. People can come and camp out. We'll try to do once every month. But the funny thing was, I was looking at RVs yesterday, and they are hot. That company, the RVs, they're all selling because everybody wants to get away, and that's what people are doing.
Everyone wants to get away. My buddy owns a rental company, and he was telling me that his gross receipts the last few months are literally 5 times what he was making last year at the same time pre-COVID.
Yep.
So
he says it's
it's slammed. Yeah, so it's super busy.
It's the best it's ever been. And then the other thing is, I got people doing a deal up in Big Bear. I heard the lady said that made the really hot up there, man, because everybody's trying to move to Big Bear. But I think, this thing's going to go by and, things will get back to normal. It's just one of those things where for now people want to.
It's a blip. It's an aberration. Yeah, people are tired of being cooped up and they want to get out, right? I mean, even Mission Bay that I live on is so busy. People want to be out and about and on boats and things like that. So it's good. People need to be outside. I think it's probably less chance of getting diseases on the outside with the wind blowing and stuff. Who knows?
Well, here's my thing too, man. So I'm walking down the boardwalk and I'm not afraid at all until I see somebody running by. And then I'm thinking, man, those guys are breathing hard, which means, could be a little bit more riskier with a runner than somebody walking. And
I don't know how to take all this either. I've heard there's different varieties of COVID. So if the guy that's running full tilt and is breathing hard has COVID, I want that version.
Yeah.
I don't want the version where I'm laid up in the ICU and I can't move.
Yeah.
But because I'm hearing stories of people that have got it and they didn't even notice any symptoms. They're just out resuming regular life. Well, cool. Let me get that version of COVID because I just want to keep doing my thing. Don't give me the ICU COVID.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. So anyways, it's crazy.
Well, let's get to our theory. Ted,
Sure.
I kind of helped you with this one, but I'm sure it's your theory anyways. So tell us what you got. What's your theory?
As far as the COVID or the?
No, in terms of marketing and advertising.
Oh, that's what I thought we were talking about. My theory is, well, it just kind of happened by accident. I wasn't looking to do this. With the Rancho Ted, it just fell on my lap. And actually in the beginning, I thought it was kind of silly and didn't want to do it. But as time went on, I thought, it's similar to King Stallman, if people know who that is. And I thought,
does he do comedy stuff?
Well, he always had that saying, better to know me than
need me.
Yeah. You have to know me. So one of the better.
Okay, so we even got your theory. So state your theory real quick. So we see what it is.
Oh, my theory is because of the brand Rancho Ted, I've created a third person and then try to make it really entertaining and funny, and made Rancho Ted into a superhero.
And I agree. It's working because every time I see one of your little ads, anywhere I see it, because now you're on bus benches, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook. We see you around. You're probably the most popular hard money lender in town in terms of people know you. But I think you've gotten a lot of your publicity and your branding because of your comedy, right? I think that comedy and the ability that every time I see one of your little jokes where it shows you like on Jeopardy going all in, or on the cover of Time magazine or on the Dukes of Hazzard mobile, I'm laughing out loud, literally. And I think, and you said you studied this, but I believe there's probably a psychological connection or probably a neuron that connects between my memory of who's a hard money lender and me laughing and releasing some dopamine, saying that now I'm connecting this funny lender with he's also a professional.
Yep. Yeah, it's it really started with my friend Paulie, who was he's an architect, and he Paulie, right?
I know, Polly. Yeah.
Yeah, and he started doing my flyers, and the graphics were incredible. But after a while, you get kind of bored, so we just like, oh, we come up with something else, and then honestly, we just could not stop laughing when we started coming up with this funny stuff. Like we'd be dying, and then we'd put it on Facebook or blast now. We'd just be watching for the results, and it just became, it's just a lot of fun. So it's not work. We look forward to, if we have, the problem is you get so busy, it's hard to get the time to do some of it sometimes. But
well, it's cool that you do it because it does show a little bit of guts too, right? You're saying that, hey, I'm okay to put myself out there. Like this cover of the Time, you got yourself as Network of the Year. It's a great headshot of you, and it says the Polish Mafia nice guy of private money lending, right?
yeah.
And so it's just kind of fun, it's just kind of funny that you do that because one way or another, we're going to remember you, right?
Yeah.
And your name on blimps and on golf balls, and like the Buddhist monks looking at the
Yeah.
at the billboard off in the distance. Like,
Some people think it's real, some of that stuff, and so like we put one which I thought looked like the 405 up in LA, Rancho Ted billboard, and everybody was going nuts, like, man, you've really made it, and it was fake, and I was like, oh, what do I do here,
well, what they think of your moon landing one then?
Yeah. No, but some people thought the blimp was real, and then we did one, I don't know if it's on the what are you looking at for right now,
The Instagram page.
Instagram, that we did one in Russia, Rancho Ted in Russian, at the World Cup. And I had somebody going, oh my God, you're advertising at the World Cup. And I'm thinking, oh boy.
So, and you've understood this, and you said you studied this a little bit, that having a funny advertising campaign is probably more effective than a serious one or a stoic one or one that tugs at your emotions. Yet most people don't do that. We kind of talked briefly about like car insurance seems to do it, right? Car insurance is probably one of the least funny things you could have out there.
Right.
And every company only does comedy stuff for their insurance, right?
Yeah.
And I think it has to go with the association, right? Hard money or private money isn't funny.
No.
True or false? Filling out a loan application isn't funny.
No.
Getting income documents together, never funny.
No.
And you've made it, you've humanized it by saying, hey, interact with me and I'll make this less gruesome than it really has to be.
Well, part of it has to do with really the brand. Rancho Ted is really, like I said, trying to make him into a superhero so he can do all these crazy things. We did one, I remember a flyer, Saturday Night Live, and I always remember it back in the day, and it was Belushi and them. Belushi was oh my God, there was Ant-Man. I can't even remember who they were, but and I said, oh, and then there's Rancho Ted as a superhero. So then I just started playing off that, and it's it's just a lot of fun, and that's the bottom line. If you're having fun, it's not work, and we look forward to doing more of them.
So Rancho Ted is your spokesperson, like you're your own spokesperson. You're your own like mascot, effectively.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
Rancho Ted version. But truth be told, it's not too different from who you are as a person either.
Not too far off, let's say that.
I like this Chuck Norris one because it's like those top 100 facts about Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Flipped one, right? When Chuck Norris cuts onions cry.
Yeah. That was like one of the first ones we ever did, because that came about because of hard money, or tough loans. And so Paulie and I came up with this, like, hey, let's do a series on tough people. So we thought, well, Chuck Norris is tough, and that's how that came about.
There's a similar list that they did with the guy from 24, Jack Bauer. if you haven't seen that list, it's on Not Riley. It's pretty hilarious. It's like top 100 facts about Jack Bauer, and they're jokes like those, the same like the Chuck Norris ones. But
Okay.
even if you haven't seen the show, within a few of them, you'll be crying from laughing. It's pretty good. So Ted, let me ask you this, because you said you had kind of researched this a little bit. Why? Why don't more advertisers or marketing campaigns or advertising firms do comedy-based advertising? Right, we see it with the Super Bowl, but we don't see it with many other things.
Yeah, I like when they sell jewelry, they try to be real serious. It's wedding.
It's an emotional thing.
Yeah, so I watch those guys, and it's bring the family in. And then I watch the White Glove guys. They try to be creative and funny on their stuff. Some of it's good, some of it's not as good, but not everything's perfect. I know that because some of the stuff I do isn't very funny either.
You got to try though, right? You got to try your material.
No, you got to try. Yeah, so
it's like open mic night with the comedian. Yeah, they're like taking notes on which jokes are funny and which ones aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell Paulie that not all the Beatles songs are good. So not everything's perfect in everything you do. So yeah, I just kind of watch it all. It just seems, I think you need to be funny as best you can to get more people paying attention.
Do people call you and state that they saw your funny ad and said, "Hey, I wanted to call you because someone mentioned you," and then they saw that you were funny too?
Yeah, you do definitely get responses like that. I don't think that, it just gets people's attention, and then all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh man, I need a hard money loan," and they're like, "Got to call Rancho Ted," and so it does, no doubt, bring in business because it does stay on top of the mind.
It sticks with them, because it's one of those. You need to have a good hard money lender around, but at the same point, it's like watching paint dry. It's not like an exciting feel until you need it. Until you need it, you're like, "Oh, I need this," and who do I go to?
It's one of those things that most people don't have a clue, and how would they? Because they've never done it. There's no school, so that's why I started doing these lunch and learns to educate people. And they need it. And then they can realize how they can use it, where they don't even know some of this stuff exists, so they don't use it as a tool to make deals happen.
So give me a couple examples. What are kind of like your bread and butter private money loan scenarios that you get into?
Well, the scenarios, for the most part, are two reasons. One is credit and the other one's income. That's the bottom line. You get those self-employed people and they just don't qualify, and they're from another country. All different reasons people don't qualify, and then credit. Unfortunately, people get into issues where they get divorced and one of them decides not to make payments. Scores drop, or this recent thing where they were giving you an option not to make your payments and people didn't. And next thing you know, they get all these 30-day lates. That's the reason why I'm doing one of the loans right now. I did a couple of loans last month because people thinking it was okay not to make their payments. And then they get hit with 30-day lates and screwed them up. So that's some.
That's a strong point, right? I remember early on with this COVID, when the forbearances were being issued, I made a big point to make it understood that, hey, that's great if you need to miss a payment or two or three because you can't make the payment, then by all means do so. Because if you need to buy groceries, then groceries over your mortgage payment.
Right.
But if you can't afford to make it, please make it, because if you think you're going to refinance or purchase a property in the next little while or use your credit, someone's going to be checking back and seeing if you made those payments. Whether it shows up on your credit report or not, a future bank is going to say, send me a verification of mortgage to show that you made those March, April, May payments.
Yeah, and that's where the private money steps in, because that issue came up and that's where I'm needed. Or, a lot of times I closed a deal in Pacific Beach last week, and I don't know I know what the problem was. The property turned out somebody took out the stove and everything else, and so wasn't really livable. So the banks wouldn't touch it. and they needed to close in 5 days. So I stepped in and closed it for them, and then they'll get whatever is resolved and get a conventional loan. But they couldn't close it without private money. So, and they needed to close quickly. So it's kind of like come to the rescue, Rancho Ted.
The superhero coming through with the
Yeah.
funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You've done a good job of being able to use comedy for that effect and staying top of mind for people that need to know, right?
Yeah.
People in the industry, especially.
Yeah. Because real quick, you emailed me after you saw the solution, and that came from every time I get on a call, the first thing they say is, Ted, I've got a situation.
Yeah.
And I need a solution. And then, I get all the time. And after a while, I was telling Paulie, man, stack, like the basketball players that call the truth, the answer, the Black Mamba. I said, Paulie, man, let's do one with the solution, man. Rancho Ted's the solution. And so that's where that came from.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that's how we thought of that.
The solution.
One. Yeah.
The solver.
Yeah. So it's again, I was afraid when I put that one out. I'm thinking, oh boy, what have I done this time?
Well, you're also doing just kind of like print media, so it's not like you have to be there and be funny like a comic or something like that.
No.
You're putting together a meme or you're putting together some kind of print advertising where obviously we could tell that you've done the thinking behind it. But at the end of the day, it's not like we're telling you to get up in front of people and tell jokes.
Yeah. No. And again, the thing I get going is, it's not a company. It's not like Little Italy hard money, Little Italy loans used to be like La Jolla loans, all these names. So you really couldn't, Rancho Ted's a third person. So we can do anything with it. So I guess in the marketing world, if you can come up with something similar, then you can use, it's easy to market. It's infinite, I started doing cartoons. The cartoons were, it's a lot of fun just making them, seeing how they come out.
I was joking with one of my buddies because one of my big focuses with the construction company are ADUs, right? These guest houses that we're building. And I was telling him how I've got an idea for financing for them where everyone would get an ADU. He's like, that's awesome. He's like, I'm going to turn you into the Oprah of ADUs. You get an ADU. You get an ADU. You get an, where I'm just handing them out to everyone. And I was like, well, that'd be hilarious as like a thing. So we might have to do a little meme of me being Oprah handing out ADUs.
There you go. It's again, it's fun. The bottom line, it's fun if you can come up with something funny. If it's serious, it's not obvious it's fun, but whatever works, right? Sometimes it works.
Yeah, no, I agree. I when I knew we were doing the show, I was like, this should be your theory, is that you got to talk because you're living it. You're not just your theory. Like, it's effective for you because you're doing it, and it's more effective than the pharmaceutical drug company, where it's like, ask your doctor if you should call Rancho Ted.
So you start getting even. You just can't stop thinking. So the next thing I'm saying, I need a car, the Rancho Ted 1. So I'm gonna buy like a car, antique car, one of those Chevy Novas, mags on them, painted orange and black, kind of make it look like the Batmobile. Yeah. I personally don't want to drive it around, but I'll have people driving it around for me. But when they're going down the road, they're like, man, there's Rancho Ted, and I'm like. So another marketing tool, but you can have fun with it and make it a really, really nice car.
Well, after we stop recording, I've got a car for you. One of my buddies is selling exactly what you're talking about. It's like a 1950s station wagon, mint condition, beautiful. I'll send you a picture of it and you tell me what you think.
All right. Yeah. So.
Well, cool. All right, Ted. Well, we don't need to beat this thing down. I think we got the point across, which is being funny is a better tactic in advertising and marketing than the other tactics out there. So thank you for coming on and talking with me about that.
Yeah, and it's good to see you, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so appreciate you all listening in to another episode of I've Got a Theory. Thanks to my guy, Ted Przybylek, and please like, subscribe, and comment.
All right.